Hello, everyone. I'm Doris McMillon, a Better Chance alumna of the first class of girls in 1965. Welcome to A Better Chance's Virtually Speaking, Episode 3. I'd like to introduce you to Larry Ng, a Better Chance alumnus of the first graduating class of boys in 1964. Larry attended Cushing Academy and he graduated in 1968. His field of study was in the sciences, and we're going to talk more about that in a moment. Welcome, Larry, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Larry, how did the game of chess change your life?
I grew up in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and after school I used to go to the Boys Club of New York to play chess with the librarian, and she recommended me to the Boys Club of New York educational program, who then recommended me to the first ABC, or A Better Chance program, in which they send high school students to summer school to improve their knowledge in reading and math.
Now, had you ever heard of A Better Chance before?
No, this was clearly at the recommendations of the Boys Club of New York.
Now, when you went home and told your parents about it, what did they say?
They said that it was a great opportunity for me to go on my own and get a better education. So I sort of packed up my bag, my 26-inch suitcase, and went off to Dartmouth in 1964. And later on in 1965, I went to Cushing Academy.
Okay, what was your Dartmouth experience like? Because I know it's been a long time ago, but I remember that all of us had to go to a program that was going to be like the school we attended. If it was an all-boys school, you went to an all-boys program. If you went to an all-girls school, you went to an all-girls program, an orientation program. What was it like at Dartmouth?
The Dartmouth experience was very unique for me because I have never been away from my family, and the culture was entirely different too. We lived in the dorms and we had classes, and we had dinner together. So it was different in experiencing the different people that were attending Dartmouth, and the experience of learning and how to especially reading classes was very useful for me.
So it prepared you then for the academic studies that you were going to be pursuing once you got to Cushing?
Definitely. My reading aptitude increased, almost doubled as a result of the program, and I had special skills with respect to math, so that also increased. But the Dartmouth experience especially helped me with the reading and English skills.
Then when you left Dartmouth, you finished that program, then you went to Cushing Academy. What was it like being at Cushing for you?
Here was another experience where, I was sort of out of my elements. The prep school had, the students at the prep school had a variety of different backgrounds. My background from the Lower East Side of New York was very different.
Well, you came from a large family. There were 7 of you, correct?
Yes, but the mannerisms or the cultures of the other students were different, and it took me a while to get used to the new lifestyle.
How did it help you socially?
The entire experience of living away from my family and with other students was definitely a dichotomy of my background. I remember the first instance of attending a dinner meal in Dartmouth, and somebody asked me to pass the rolls, and not knowing what the etiquette of the thing, I passed them one roll.
One?
One roll.
Okay.
After that, I picked up what the etiquette or what the socially acceptable things were.
And then how did it affect you academically?
The caliber of education that we received from the prep school and Dartmouth through the ABC programs and the programs of the Boy Scout of New York educational program, clearly providing me with a level of education that was probably unachievable if I would have stayed where it was.
Tell us what kind of work you're doing in the field of science.
I'm an electrical engineer studying electric power systems. I graduated Cornell University in 1972 and went on to do graduate work at our Rensselaer Polytech Institute, where I received a master's degree in electric power engineering.
Tell us how electric power engineering affects our lives on a daily basis.
The electric power system studies that I do mainly was to ensure that the adequacy and reliability of the electric grid, electric transmission systems in the Northeast is adequate enough to supply energy to everybody in the Northeast.
Okay, give us an example of how that works. I know if we were talking about the West Coast, they have brownouts out there. I know my daughter lives out there, and she says sometimes things go a little brown. How does that line up with what happens on the East Coast?
It's different in that we do studies for future studies to ensure that the supply of energy that's delivered from the generators to the customers has what would flow reliably and adequately. So we do studies and we ensure that the network is adequate.
Now, I understand you did 3 major studies for the blackout areas in the Northeast. What did those studies tell you?
We investigated the blackouts that occurred in 1977 with respect to New York City, in 2003 with respect to the problems that originally occurred out in Ohio that caused blackouts in New York State. In the analysis, we determined what caused those blackouts, and we tried to propose facilities or procedures to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
What kind of, we're relying on electric, how does that work for us in terms of where we're getting our power from?
The studies we performed, and in particular in 1994, we studied the additions of generators to generate the electricity needed to supply to customers, and ensure that those generators could be interconnected to the transmission systems in a reliable fashion.
Now, you were also telling me about, I think, a study that you did that had to do with the transmission of power between New York and Canada. Was that correct?
Recently, we did a study to investigate the transfer of power from Canada to New York City via a high voltage DC line that carries 1,000 megawatts, and 1 megawatt is equivalent to supplying the energy for 1,000 homes.
Now, the studies that you have been working on, and I think you said they've affected or have an effect on over 500,000 homes?
Right. We planned the addition of interconnection of 5,000 megawatts of generation, which would supply power to approximately 5 million people.
You obviously have a great love of science. What would you say to a better chance students who are considering a future as an electrical engineer or in some area or facet of the field that you're in? What advice would you give them?
The critical point about science is that the science knowledge is doubling approximately every 10 years. And it's necessary to learn as much as you can, as quickly as you can, in order to stay ahead of the curve. What we know, students that studied stuff 10 years ago is a lot different from information that people need to know today. Take, for instance, computers. When I started, the computers were big, bulky IBM computers that the equipment was the size of a whole room. And today, that same equipment could be supplied via an iPhone or a cell phone. And the information stored between when I started would be like through punch cards. And today they're like 64 gigabytes of information on an iPhone.
Now, even you, I mean, I know we're a lot older now. How important is that we stay abreast of the new information?
In order to advance with respect to science, it's important to have a good foundation of where you are today. So if you have a good basis for today's knowledge, you could leverage that out into the future.
The young people that are coming through A Better Chance now, we're looking at 13, 14 years old. How can you encourage them?
Again, the most important part is to learn as much as you can, as quickly as you can. And even after you finish schools, that becomes even more critical in the business life. Everybody is trying to learn what to do and how to do it. But if you have some inherent knowledge of how to logically transgress from where you are today to tomorrow, it will provide you with more advancements, capabilities, or achievements, career opportunities.
One other thing I didn't want to forget to ask you this. If you were in charge of writing legislation for your industry, how would you change things?
The most important factor in today's systems is that the electric systems is basically aging. And there is no real investment opportunities for the existing utilities to supply capital dollars to reinforce the systems. So the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission has issued an order, it's called Order 1000, which opens the access to third-party developers to investigate opportunities for utility investments, transmission systems. The problem with the present legislation is that the knowledge or the data that's necessary to do the studies is more or less resides with the existing utilities. And it would be useful for the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to open that availability of data to other parties.
Larry, do you think as a country we're ever going to have to worry about having enough power to meet our needs?
No, that's the reason why the FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, has established standards of reliability. And as long as the consultants are investigating or studying the reliability and adequacy of the systems, that we should have sufficient power.
What would you say to your younger self about A Better Chance? And then what advice would you give to our current scholars and our young alumni as they pursue or think about pursuing a career in science?
A Better Chance definitely has provided me the opportunity to expand my skills, especially with reading. Through the improvement of reading, it will allow you to basically self-teach yourself in expanding your knowledge.
You love what you do.
I definitely love what I do. Being an engineer has given me an opportunity to design the transmission systems so that as I traveled down the roads, I could identify specific transmission facilities, which I built that, and I could see what the benefits of those facilities are to people and to the energy delivery capabilities.
So you can say you feel good about your contribution to your field of science.
Right. It's almost like an engineer building a bridge. And he could see that the bridge is providing some public service. And the very fact that the bridge was built provides you some recognition that you've achieved something in life.
Larry, thank you again for joining us. In our next and final episode for this year, we'll be profiling another prominent A Better Chance alum in the 4th episode of Virtually Speaking. Be sure to join us. I'm Doris McMillon, and very grateful for A Better Chance.